Hey there, Aaron Facciolini here, and welcome to this brand new 2016 training for Craigslist. Now, as you can see right here, I put 16 and a half because we were actually more than halfway through the year of 2016, if you can actually believe that. And this is the first time I've actually done a real updated training for Craigslist since 2014. And the reason for this is because realistically, my 2014 training is still very valid. But I know a lot of people just see the date on that and then they think the information's dated, they don't pay attention. Therefore, they're still out there not getting the results that they want to. So I figured I'd go ahead and make sure to update this training and make sure that you are up to date and that you are getting the results that you're after. Okay, so the whole goal of this training is to take you from this to this. Okay, so basically from getting your ads flagged to staying in the green, as I call it. Okay, so that is the goal of this training, and if you follow my exact instructions, you should be a Craigslist master poster. Okay, so let's get started. Why your ads actually aren't going live. Okay, so understanding why your ads aren't live in the first place is your first line of defense, and make sure that they go live in the future. So you have to understand that Craigslist actually tracks everything you do. Okay, they use a cookie system, and if you don't know what a cookie system is, it's basically just small pieces of data that are stored in your web history. Then whenever you log back into Craigslist, no matter what it is that you're doing, they use bits of that information that go back to Craigslist to talk about your previous history. And generally speaking, cookie systems are really, really good for internet. It makes browsing your internet much faster and much easier because everything's kind of stored in the back end of your internet browser, and it just makes things load up faster and things like that. So a cookie system in and of itself isn't bad. However, it is the first reason why we come into trouble with Craigslist. Okay, so you have to understand that first. And then also understand that Craigslist has a very sophisticated robot that tracks your every move. Okay, and this robot uses sophisticated algorithms, and it gets more and more sophisticated each and every year, it seems like. And I'm sure I've contributed a lot to this. Not saying that to toot my own horn, but I know that my training inevitably made Craigslist posting much, much harder back in 2014 for those leading into the future until we're at this point now. Okay, so understand that there are a lot of gates to get through. Okay, and we're going to talk about each one of those gates in this training so to make sure that your ads do go live. So this is the posting process in a nutshell. Okay, so as you can see, when you first open up Craigslist, there is a cookie that is stored in your internet browser, and Craigslist knows about this cookie as well. And then you go through the login process. There's a new cookie installed. Then when you go to create an account or an ad, whichever one, and both of them, but let's say you already have an account and you go ahead and create your ad, a new cookie is installed, and then you go to post your ad, another cookie, and then this is the part where you hit the wall. Okay, and this wall, this gate here, determines whether or not your ad goes live. Okay, so I call it the holding tank. This is what I called it back in my training in 2014. And basically what Craigslist does is just it kind of goes into this evaluation process. Okay, now this process takes anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. And basically it's going to run your ad through a series of checks to make sure that it can go live. Things like does it contain blacklisted keywords? Is it posted from the right IP? How many ads today have you posted? All kinds of things that it's going to validate before it allows it to go live. Okay, and then if it determines that you're within their guidelines, your ad goes live. If not, it gets deleted. So this is the posting process. The next thing you have to understand is who is actually flagging your ads in the first place. Is it Craigslist or is it your competitors? Okay, it's very easy to tell who's doing this. So when a user actually flags you and it's not Craigslist doing it, you'll actually get a notification email from Craigslist saying that your posting has been flagged for removal. This means that somebody else or the community, sometimes a group of people, they have dedicated groups out there that basically that actually go out there and try to flag down your ads. So you can tell whether or not it's from a user or from Craigslist itself by getting an email or not. So if Craigslist is flagging your ad, you're not going to receive an email. Your ad is just going to be deleted with no explanation whatsoever. Okay, so that's how you know who is actually flagging your ads. Now, understand that Craigslist flags your ads for spam, okay? And there's basically three different main types of flagging situations that Craigslist is going to flag you down for. So as I said in the beginning, Craigslist keeps track of everything that you do, and this includes your live ads to flagged ads ratio, okay? So basically, think of it as a seesaw. If you start to have more flagged ads than live ads, and you don't bring that back fast, what's going to happen is the seesaw is going to hit the ground, and then you're going to get shut down for basically having a poor ratio. Okay, so it's very imperative to keep your live ad to flagged ad ratio in check. Okay, so if you start to see a lot of ads getting flagged, you might want to slow down on that account and try to post really conservative ads that absolutely will not get removed by Craigslist or your competitors. This way to bring your ratio back into balance, because you don't want one of your Craigslist accounts to get shut down, especially if you're primarily using only one Craigslist account, okay? So the next type of flagging situation that usually happens, which is when Craigslist actually starts to trim down your ads. And this is, coming from a method that I taught in the Craigslist Master Blueprint. A lot of the Craigslist Master Blueprint itself was built around this idea of building up this immense amount of ads out there for yourself, like these little seeds. So eventually what would end up happening is you would just log into your account and just renew ads all day long. You wouldn't even be out there posting ads. And this is how I've been able to generate hundreds and hundreds of leads and teach other people how to generate hundreds and hundreds of leads per day eventually, right? Because when you have so many ads out there that you're renewing, and by the way, renewed ads are much, much harder to get flagged, as well as Craigslist leaves renewed ads alone as well, until this one situation arises, okay? So the one situation that's going to arise where Craigslist is going to start trimming your ads down is when you're renewing too many ads on an account that look similar to each other, okay? So it's very important that your ads do not look similar, and if they do, and there's multiple ways around this that we're going to talk about later in this video, but this will start to happen again when your ads start to look like duplicates or too similar to each other when they're being renewed. Not just because of the volume of ads being renewed, because I've renewed up to 50 ads on an account in one day. However, going to another account that same exact day and then getting all my ads start getting flagged by Craigslist. And the only real difference between the two accounts was that the one account had a multitude and variety of ads, whereas the other one, a lot of the ads kind of repeated each other, even though those ads were posted on different days originally, right? So understand that. Also, there's soft blocks that Craigslist does where they start to ban you from specific categories. A lot of the times Craigslist just thinks you're posting in the wrong category for whatever reason, right? So if you're posting in the sales or customer service section and it seems like your ad doesn't belong there, Craigslist is going to block you from that categories, and it's more or less to get you to post into a different category. So understand that your ads should stay relevant to the category that you're posting in, okay? It's very important to keep this from happening, okay? So those are the different types of, flagging situations that are going to happen from Craigslist, right? Also understand that your IP can actually be banned, okay? Now this has never happened to any of my personal accounts, which I've ran thousands of personal accounts. The only time I've actually ever seen this happen when I was using VPNs, okay? So this happens for, a multitude of reasons, but the big main two reasons are that you're being blocked for violations to Craigslist terms and service, where they realize that you've, without a doubt, have violated their, user agreement, or because a secondary reason actually that this can happen is you can actually be banned from Craigslist now for mass flagging other people, which is really good for us. If our competitors are out there mass flagging our ads, this kind of put an end to that, and this is actually a good thing. So I don't look at either one of these two things as bad. They're actually, in the long run, pretty good things. And like I said, I've never once had this happen on a personal account of mine. So do know that, though. It's good to know if you're one of those people out there flagging other people, which I don't condone doing. You can end up being banned for this. Okay, so next we're going to get into my anti-flagging protocol. So this is where you're going to learn how to defend against flagging. Okay, so what you want to do is stay local to your IP, okay? So whether it's your personal IP or, whatever it is that you're logging in from a remote IP or whatever, make sure that when you're posting on that IP address that you're posting anywhere in the nearby column on the right-hand side, okay? So you cannot go out of that column. I'm sure you can stretch your limits, but, I don't really find a reason to do that, right? Just stay within the column to save yourself a lot of frustration, okay? Now, this is actually going by Craigslist's rules, right? This right here, the next part that we're going to be talking about, I'm going to show you how you can actually push a little bit beyond this, but really, this is, from years of experience on Craigslist, so just take it for what it is. If you want to push the envelope, I'm going to show you a way to do that, but again, I would probably stay on the more conservative side if I were you, just because, again, it just saves a lot of time, a lot of frustration, because we all know how much time it could take, posting ads on Craigslist. So 2 ads per account. Okay, so you can post up to 2 ads per account per 48 hours. Okay, so that means if you're logging into one account on an IP, you can post 2 ads, which have to be in 2 separate categories, by the way. They cannot be in the same category per account per 48 hours. Okay, that is literally what Craigslist rules are if you look them up. Now, in my testing, and this has not changed at all over the years, you can have up to 5 accounts per IP and stay safe. Now, others have, told me that they've pushed this beyond this, but again, anytime I've ever tried to push beyond 5 accounts per IP, I've ran into issues. So just to keep it on the safe side, this is what I do. All right. Now, the next thing is like I just told you, 1 ad per category. That should actually say 48 hours, not 24 hours. I do 24 hours, but you can also go down to 12 hours if you're really brave. Okay, we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. Craigslist doesn't want you posting more than once every 48 hours per category. And these next 3 things are incredibly important, and a lot of people tend to just kind of gloss over these things. And this is probably why a lot of people run into issues. If somebody's doing and following everything that I've laid out so far and they're still getting flagged, I guarantee you it falls under one of these 3 bullet points here. Okay, so no duplicate content. In fact, this is probably the #1 reason people start getting ghosted and flagged on Craigslist. Duplicate content is a huge thing on Craigslist, and it's only gotten worse over the years. So again, you have to be varying your text, images, and everything else. We're going to talk about that. Also, avoid blacklisted keywords. This is pretty basic stuff, and there is no released information on what blacklisted keywords are, but just use common sense. If you're posting in jobs, you don't want to be using words like MLM, network marketing, or even work from home. I know a lot of people still do the work from home stuff. I would probably try to avoid that. Okay, not only does it draw attention to you from the community and get you flagged that way, but also because, again, these are words that Craigslist looks for as well. Okay. Also, don't draw attention from your competition, if at all possible. Okay. Now, of course, if you're using all the anti-flag measures that are in place, it's very hard for your competitors to flag you. But anything that you can add as an extra barrier between you and your competition, is recommended, of course. Okay, so what I mean by this is if you're posting in an area where you have a lot of competition against other people for the same exact offer or type of offer or whatever it is, you want to do your best for avoiding having your competition, find out that you're the one posting your ads, because then they can just go ahead and again start flagging your ads. Now, again, like I said, Craigslist will ban an IP if somebody's mass flagging, but there are people out there that figure out ways to get through this, and this is just something that I've personally always done. You can take it for what it is, use it, but again, it's just something that's helped me tremendously. So moving on, these are the essential tools that you need to post on Craigslist. Okay, so you need to have the CCleaner. And what that is a free tool if you don't already know what it is. And what it does is it just clears out all your cookies, all your stored data on your computer. Also, this is a really good tool for you to have just in general, even if you weren't using Craigslist. This is one of my highest recommended tools for any computer. It's a tremendously valuable tool, but it is absolutely imperative to use it for Craigslist. Okay. Also, you're going to need Chrome or Firefox. Both of them have incognito windows, which is what we use to post on Craigslist. This way, nothing gets stored. It's just another barrier against making sure that Craigslist isn't storing any information. So the cleaner, our IP and our history is that when we go to post, the higher our chance of not getting flagged is, right? The next 2 things are pretty obvious, but you will need an email account and a verified phone number, and you're going to need multiple of both of these if you're going to be posting, from multiple accounts and multiple IPs across the nation, right? So these are definitely the things that you absolutely need. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump off this presentation. I'm going to actually just go ahead and post a live ad for you just to show you how this actually all looks for a live demonstration, of course. And then we're going to come back in here and finish up, making sure that you understand exactly what you need to do. Okay, so let's jump off here. Let's actually close down these. Probably had some pretty important tabs open. I usually do, but I should have planned that out a little bit before time, right? So let's get CCleaner open. All right, so this is what you're going to need, right? You're going to need this. Again, just type it into Google or whatever. It's completely free to use. So what you're going to do is just hit Analyze. All right, awesome. Now you're going to hit Run CCleaner. All right, now it's going to say it's going to permanently delete these files. Are you sure? You're just going to say yes, okay? Okay, great. Now when we're done this, we just exit that, and now you're going to open up either Firefox or Google Chrome. I like Google Chrome just because Google Chrome to me is the best internet browser on the planet Earth. But so when you come into Google Chrome, and I'll actually show you this in both browsers. When you come into Google Chrome, you're going to come up here and go into an incognito window. Okay, that's what you want to do. If you're using Firefox, it's the exact same thing. You just want to come over here, and then where is it? New file, new private window. Okay, so you come over to file, and a new private window is what you'd want to use inside Firefox. Okay, so what we're going to do is incognito. Then this is what I like to do. Okay, this is just a security parameter on my half, and it comes from years of experience with Craigslist. But what I do first is just go to Google. And this especially is true because, I post from all over the country, and sometimes I don't know where my IP actually is. And what I do is just type in Craigslist right into Google, and Craigslist is going to give you the closest Craigslist to your area, your local Craigslist right here. As you can see, right now I'm in South Jersey, so this is absolutely true. This is where I'm at. So this is what I want to do. I want to come into South Jersey Craigslist. All right. So now I'm coming back into here, and now I can post any one of these right here. Okay. All right. So let's say that I'm going to post in State College, and I just post a classifieds. Now you can log into an account or post outside of a logged account. It doesn't really matter. I like actually posting outside of a login. I don't know. It's just something that I've tested, and I feel like this is probably just psychological, but I feel like my ads perform better when I don't actually log in. Okay. So I'm going to go to job offered, sales. And again, I'm posting in here because I'll actually be doing a CPA offer for job seekers. Okay, sorry there. I got to interrupt it for a little bit. But we're back. And okay, so I actually just went ahead and put in all this information real quick so to speed this training up a little bit. So this is what we're going to be doing. So basically, you just put your ad together, and then we're going to hit continue. If you're posting outside of zip codes that you actually are familiar with, what you can do is just come over here and put in State College zip code. Okay, and now what we can do is find that zip code right in here and just come down here. Alright, so where's it at? Alright, so let's just use this one, 16801. That'll work. Alright, now we'll just come in here. Alright, everything should be good now. Now, I definitely highly suggest using images, especially if you're going to be posting in massive volume. But that is something that I go over in more advanced training. It's not something that I'll be covering in this training per se, but do not skimp out on images, especially if you're a volume poster. So now we can just go over this, make sure everything looks good. Okay. And of course this is fine, so now I'm just going to hit publish. Alright, now because I posted this by not logging into my account, I actually have to go over to my email and confirm that I actually did this. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now when you click that, then you'll get this, and now what happens is that ad goes into the holding tank. Okay, now it's going to go live in a few hours from now. This is posted from a really strong account. It actually has absolutely no flagged ads on this account, and I think there's like 100 or more live ads. So this should definitely absolutely go live. But that's the whole process. Okay, that's what you do. Now if you wanted to post another ad, what you would do is, let's say I was posting another employment ad, what I can do is from the same city. Now I can't, I could go to another nearby city, but that's just not what I like doing. If I'm posting in a city like State College today on this account, I'm going to stay in here on this specific account. If I wanted to post in another one of these, I would log into a new account and post in another one of these instead of logging, instead of trying to go in one of these from this account. Now that I posted here today, I'm going to stay within here on this account. Okay, so what I would do now is I would go in here, and because I just did a sales one, I would probably go into the customer service next, or maybe I don't know, business management, something like that. Marketing and advertising works really well too. It'd be either sales, marketing, and customer service. It's the three ones if you're obviously advertising to job seekers. Now, your options are going to be a little bit limited if you're not posting in this category right here. Let's say, for instance, that you're real estate, which many of my customers are. You're just going to need more Craigslist accounts, okay? Because obviously you're going to be posting in real estate all day long. So like I said, but what you can do is 12 hours from now, post another ad in here. We're going to talk about that now, okay? So what I'm going to do is jump back into the presentation and continue moving forward. Okay, so as I've been hinting at, where can we post? I just covered this. You want to stay within the nearby Craigslist areas, okay? So I don't think I need to go into this any further. I just covered this. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is going over the two different types of posting styles, right? So either you're more conservative or you're more aggressive, and we're going to go over those. Okay, so this is pretty much the breakdown of it. So from each IP address that you have now, whether you have more or not depends on the volume of posting that you're doing per day. But for this training specifically, we're staying within one IP address. Okay, so what you can have is 5 accounts on this IP address, and each one of these accounts can post in one city per day. Okay. As you just seen, I posted in State College on account 1. I'm going to stay in State College on account 1. If I wanted to post in Southern Maryland, I would have to go into a new account for that and stay within Southern Maryland. Now, from that account in that city, you can post into up to 2 different categories, okay? And 1 ad per category. Then what you do is you wait 48 hours until your next posting session. So this is the conservative model. This is the model that really, it'll work 99 out of 100 times without any flagged ads, because you're literally staying right inside of Craigslist guidelines. You're not breaking any rules as long as you're not, doing duplicate content, blacklisted words, and your competitors are not flagging you. You will stay within Craigslist guidelines with this, right? Now, here's the aggressive approach. So again, you're still only going to have 5 accounts per IP. You're still only going to be logging into 1 city per account, but now what you do is you're going to be posting 2 ads per day per category, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to wait 12 hours apart from each one of these on your posts, okay? So this is really pushing the limits, and I wouldn't suggest doing this right out of the gate on a fresh account. But again, if you have burner accounts and you have tons and tons of IP addresses and accounts like I do, you can toy around with this concept. But again, you have to think in terms of time versus money, right? How much money are you going to be losing, or how much time, which is again equivalent to money. How much if you kind of screw this up. So I would test this on 1 account first and see how much you can get away with. And then if you're getting away with it, then keep that regimen up, okay? But don't go out there and blast off every 12 hours on 5 accounts right out of the gate. I would test this on 1 account first and see what you're getting away with, because again, that account is going to be on your IP address, and you do not want the IP address to start getting hits against it, right? You don't want that IP address to go bad, because those are much harder to swap out than an account is, okay? So this is the aggressive approach. This is the conservative approach. So the final measure, which I've already talked about several times, is your duplicate content filter, okay? Again, this is part of the Craigslist algorithm, and it's very, very important that you use title variation, image variation, okay? That's a huge one. If you are using images in your ads, you do not want to be using the exact same image over and over again. Now, you can use the exact same image, but you have to vary the file size, the color, and the file name, okay? So much like if you're using text, the text variation has to change. Now, in my tests, when you are doing this, it really comes down to the first paragraph and the last paragraph, or the first few lines and the last few lines. So I say, make sure that your first 3 to 4 lines are completely different in all your ads, and of course your final 3 to 4 lines. There is a technique that I teach inside the Craigslist Master Blueprint with the bottom, having anchors, basically just varying texts on the bottom, even outside of the field of vision sometimes. But if you're just swapping, this can be as simple as just swapping the position of certain sentences around in your text ads, okay? Now, because of this reason, though, if you are posting in mass volume, the fastest way to do it is with image ads, okay? So if you're posting, hundreds of ads per day, the way that you're going to want to do that is with image ads, because unless you have a content spinner, which is a software that you'd have to invest in, if you're doing that, then okay. But to sit around all day long and try to vary all your different text every day is going to be a lot harder than spinning your images. Okay, changing the file size, color, and file names is much, much, much quicker doing it with text. Okay, so that's a pro tip for you if you're posting in volume. So in summary, this is what we've come to: passing the algorithm to go live. Okay, this is exactly what you need to make sure all your ads go live. Okay, so a clean IP, make sure that your IP has no hits against it. Make sure if you are using a VPN or a proxy or whatever, that those IPs are in good standing with Craigslist. Okay, then every single time before you even boot up a browser, you want to clean out your cookies and then log into your local Craigslist. Okay, so from here, this is where you just want to get your correct timing and volume down, which we just covered. Also, make sure that email accounts are varied or you will have issues. Okay, so if you're using multiple emails, let's say you have 5 email accounts on one IP, and it's like something like this: MXMS1, MXMS2, MXMS3. This is literally something that I used to do, and then I found out, that all of my accounts got shut down after a while. Literally, I had 11 accounts spread over 2 IPs, and they all went dead on me at the same time. And it was literally because Craigslist caught on to the fact that they were all exactly identical. So make sure that your email accounts are completely different from one another, so Craigslist doesn't catch on to this. Now, I know that can be a hassle for keeping yourself organized, because the reason I used to do this was because it was very simple for me to just log in. All I did is had to change a number. So I do absolutely recommend keeping spreadsheets. It's definitely something you should be doing anyway, especially if you're posting in any sort of volume or you're trying to keep yourself organized or whatever. This is definitely something that I recommend. And again, do not use the same type of emails over and over. All right, so the next one is going to be your content variation. Very, very important. It's probably the #1 reason why I see ads get flagged all the time. Okay, so again, avoid blacklisted keywords. Just use your common sense. We kind of talked about this, and be careful of this thing too. Also, okay, so this is a good time to bring up the fact that if you're using the same domain in all of your ads, like if you're directing to a specific website in your ads, Craigslist will start to catch on your domain is in your ad. That one word is in 400 something ads that you have out there, and then they're just going to boom, every ad that has that word in is automatically going to get blacklisted from here on out. Okay, but be very, very careful if you're actually putting in your domain name inside your ads. Okay, not only that, very technical type of people will be able to find all of your ads on Craigslist, and I'm talking about your competition, by typing in your domain name with a very specific type of Craigslist search in Google, okay, which can also result in an issue for you as well. Okay, so just be wary of those things, and if you follow all of this to a T, you should have absolutely no problem with any ads ever going live. And if they do start to get flagged, you should troubleshoot and figure out why very, very quickly and fix the issue. Just go back over this training and you should be fine. Okay. So as I'm sure many of you already know, I do have an advanced training program who really want to take their Craigslist posting to the next level, okay? And what I mean is like 10x exactly what you just learned right now, okay? I do offer this in very limited intervals, but if this is something that you'd be interested in and, learning the Craigslist posting secrets that have helped me transform not only my own business, but hundreds of other students of mine, and, where I reveal my best monetization techniques, where you'll be able to post as much as you want to, whenever you want to, and wherever. How to scale up your ads to hundreds of live ads per day, how to actually rise to the top of the Craigslist listings and even stay there, and also become virtually unflaggable. Now, there is no such thing as unflaggable. That's why I say virtually. But using all my advanced anti-flagging measures, it's very hard to get flagged. Okay, so with all that, if you're interested in this, you can actually head over to clmasterblueprint.com/2016. There's going to be a link in the description below that you can actually go and just click to take you right over there, as well as there should be an annotation on the screen right around now and a YouTube card if you're on mobile. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end this video now. But before I go, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this, leave a thumbs up. And if you're interested in learning more from me, internet traffic strategies and things like that, make sure to subscribe and follow, because I'll be doing a lot of training on this channel, especially around YouTube marketing, Craigslist marketing, obviously, and even Bing PBC, CPA, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so definitely if you're interested in this type of information, make sure to go ahead and subscribe and follow. Thank you again. With that, I hope you have an awesome day and take care.